Hello, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Jacob Gam. I'm from England, as you can possibly tell by the accent, or possibly not. But I'm studying philosophy and ethics at Rednox School in England, Gloucestershire, and I'm in my first year of AS, and I've been doing research for the Kalam argument, and I've come across your page, so I thought I could use you as a valuable resource to research it and try and understand some of the arguments, and also have your considerations on my counter-arguments for the Kalam argument. Okay, firstly, I want to have a look at the the idea of the infinite universe and the time sort of thing. The whole fact that you'll say that the Kalam argument says that you can't have an infinite universe. And part of the idea of this is from William Lane Craig, and it says that the infinite universe, infinite time is impossible because successive additions to an already infinite universe is impossible. I don't quite understand this. I assume it means something along the lines of something that doesn't have an end you can't add to, and so he's implying that you can't have tomorrow because you can't add that day on, because there isn't a line for you to add that onto. Pardon me. Sorry, but I don't quite understand that argument, and I would possibly like it if you could explain that to me. But one of my arguments against that, from my way of thinking, is couldn't you simply say if the universe was infinite and it's as a line, if you have a line here, and say there you go, it's infinite, so it continues on forever and ever. He's saying you can't add on to this infinite universe, it just keeps on going, and keeps on going, and keeps on going. Couldn't you simply be somewhere on that line? Today, doesn't it, you can say today exists, and the time for tomorrow exists, and time for infinitely exists. I have an exam in a few weeks. I'm not saying that my physical body, there are molecules already existing several in a week, and I'm already sat in the exam room actually at the moment in exactly a week doing my exam. I'm not saying that the physical thing is there, but I'm saying time is there, that you can have additions onto that. You can't have additions onto that line, but you can be on that line somewhere. It's like a road. Say a road is infinite. You don't have to keep adding new bits of concrete or tarmac or whatever. You can simply be a car driving on that road. You don't have to keep adding to it, even if it's infinite. You just drive along it. You don't, just because it's infinite doesn't mean you can't keep going. Admittedly, you'll never reach the end because of that. Okay, so I don't know. You've probably got lots of scientific arguments against that, and as I said, I don't perfectly understand it, so my counter argument isn't exactly perfect. Okay, and next is, I also study psychology at my school, at my college, and from that I get a lot of my counter-arguments. So one of them is against, you've said, the first premise, whatever word it is you need, for the Kalam argument, is that things begin and end, and you've said that no one you've heard argues against this. You say, yeah, things end, things begin, there has to be a cause for that beginning, and you accept that that's how things work. Now, I'm arguing against this from a psychological point of view. I haven't personally researched any of the scientific points of view. I no longer study science at all, and in my opinion, this argument doesn't revolve around from a scientific point of view. This is more from a psychological point of view. Okay, so the human condition sort of thing is that we name things, we define things. I am talking to you on a webcam which has a microphone. You're viewing me on a computer screen. I can use keyboards, people using keyboards to type in information. My name is Jacob, I have hair, I have glasses, I have a top on, there's a radiator behind me, there's all that sort of thing. Everything is named, everything is defined. There's a dictionary with lists and lists and lists of words defining things, and things that physically exist, and concepts. We want to name things so much that we give names to things that don't physically exist. Everything is named, and from that naming we come through the idea of life and death. Things begin and end. You get a seed, you you plant this in the soil, this grows into a plant. This plant dies, it rots, but before that plant dies and rots, it creates new seeds, and these spread out, and these grow, and the cycle continues. But this is only because we only see a life and a death, because one thing which was named as something, as one thing, has ceased to be that named thing and has become another named thing. Whereas I more understand it as something like, say, water. We give it ice, water and gas. It's still one thing, it's just changed slightly. It's still all the same object. Now, from what I would understand it as, is that from a psychological point of view, is this is what we do. We name everything, we define everything. That a star becomes a supernova, it then explodes and turns into a nebula. From this nebula becomes new planets and new stars. These eventually, the cycle continues. And from this, I would say that it's more a case of human ideas that have created this idea. This whole argument is based on the idea that things begin and end. My idea is that they don't begin and end. They only do from our concept of things. We name things, and that's why it is more the fact that they change. Things move around. If you looked at the world from a much more zoomed out idea, if you look at science, science tells us that energy can't be destroyed. It has only moved around. Molecules cannot be destroyed, they are only moved around. And from this I get the idea that the whole universe is just moving and changing. It's not nothing is being destroyed, nothing is ending. In a sense, from that you can say that things are just the whole universe is moving around. Particles are moving in a big flow of movement. Nothing's beginning and nothing is ending in a purely physical sense. Only the things that we have named and defined are ending and beginning. The universe itself is just moving and changing. So from that we can understand that it's movement and change. It's an infinite movement and change, and from that you lose that part of the argument, and you could say that the universe is simply moving and changing. It's not beginning and ending. The fact that we've named it the universe, and that way we can say there is a before the universe and maybe after the universe, when it no longer is named the universe. But that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Oh well, I hope someone could comment on this. There's probably lots of scientific facts you can counter-argument this with, but I hope I've at least had a vague chance at arguing against you, at least giving you something to think about, and hopefully you will be able to explain the idea of not being able to do successive additions, because that's one of the parts I don't quite get about this argument. I'm, as I said, doing an exam soon enough, and that because of my atheism I'm having rather a lot of trouble writing down the positive arguments for the existence of God, because personally I just don't understand them. It's just as your way of thinking, you don't understand an atheist point of view, I can't understand a Christian point of view in the same way. You can, respect it, yes, but your mind just thinks differently, that's all I'm going to say. And this is my first ever post, so I hope that I've done it at least vaguely well, and thank you for listening. Computer's broken. Okay, bye bye.